Lauren, this has seen the issue of abortion as a major problem for Republicans going into this general election. We've seen a number of specials, including one just yesterday in Alabama, but also the midterm elections where this has been hanging over Republican candidates. This renewal of the conversation based on the Supreme Court case in Washington now has Joe Biden with this back in the stump speech again. Are there single issue voters who Republicans will just never win over on this?
Yes, I do think that any time that abortion policy is on the table, it is to the benefit of Democrats, because Republicans have traditionally had a really difficult time sketching out a more moderate position, in which is we see the polling for Americans overwhelmingly support very moderate policies for abortion. I think this is why you saw Nikki Haley early on go out and support, for example, after Roe v. Wade was overturned, more of a 15-week compromise around that. It's why you see Trump backtracking on it as well and making sure that he doesn't isolate the pro-life, very active base of Republican politics, but still gives a nod towards those independent voters, especially women all across the country that really care about this issue and access. I think the problem with the Supreme Court continuing to have to weigh in on these is that it leaves so many questions about the abortion access care that women are having to deal with. And, you know, pregnancy and childcare and birth and fertility, all of those are very complicated issues for women. And they are very motivating. And so I think that any time it's across party lines, I think you're going to see this issue continue to really motivate women. And they're an important voting bloc in presidential elections.
Well, that's for sure. The IVF ruling by the Supreme Court in Alabama was really what put this back on the front page, back on the front burner here. And remarkable to see what happened there yesterday, Alvin. Marilyn Lands, not a household name. This is a state rep, not a member of Congress, flipped the seat to Democrats after running on this issue in the wake of the IVF ruling. Can we actually extrapolate a national trend from what happened there, or at least add to what we think is one?
Well, I think Lauren just kind of mentioned, or at least hit on it somewhat, which is it's a motivating issue. It is, I think, for the Biden administration, almost a breath of fresh air in the sense that it gives them something to actually come back out in which ears will listen to what they have to say.
Sure.
And so I would just expect to see more of it. It's one of those, if the defense can't stop it, let's keep running the same play type of situation.
It sure seems like it. This wasn't in Massachusetts. This was in Alabama.
That's right. Exactly.
How does that come out when you look at the country as a whole, though?
Well, because
you factor in blue states, and you've got a story to tell.
Taking the policy aside and just looking at the issue on its just merits, it's something that is one of those things that more people not only care about, but are starting to talk about in a way that I think is just more on the forefront. Like it is. I mean, post Dobbs, it is something that I think is truly lighting a fire under vast just swaths of people, regardless of where you fall. And I think the Biden administration will continue to play up.